Hey YouTube, and thank you for watching Junkworks DIY Garage. Well, as many of you know, I have a 4-post lift in my garage. And to use that, I figure this product right here, which is probably already in the description, so I don't know why I'm making like it's a big secret. But anyway, this product right here should help out with some different things I have. Now, I plan on using it as a tranny jack, which is what it is, as well as I have a few other ideas of what I may or may not do with it, so keep an eye out down the road after this video for different ideas I have for this. As usual, it takes me time usually to get to things, so who knows when those will come out. But for right now, we are going to go ahead and pull this out of the box, make sure everything's good and that I have all the parts and pieces I need, and see what we think of it. Now, there's definitely some ups and downs to this one. It is off Amazon. It was the cheapest transmission jack I could actually find that looked like it should be beefy enough. So I don't know how long it's going to last. I think it'll do the job for as many transmissions as I have coming down the line, which honestly there's 3 that I know of that I may end up, if I can't fix them in the car, having to pull out down the line. But I also think, like I said, I'll be able to use this like for rear ends and a few other things that I know I'm going to be doing that'll be nice to have something where I can feel a little more comfortable with the weight up in the air using my lift. So without further ado, let's get into the box. So we got the legs, we got the cylinder, we got the part that the transmission is going to rest on, parts and pieces, and the little, I'm assuming it's kind of a handle to be able to turn it a little easier. They do seem like they tried to make it here in one piece and unscratched. Each item has a bag around it, although I can already tell I see quite a bit of blue scratched off on this, and there's runs in it. So this is just probably rattle can paint almost is what it looks like. Done poorly, I will say. For the price, you know, it seems fairly solid looking, the parts and pieces on it at least. So something else about it, I will say this was like $300, and I don't know, I think that was free shipping, so whatever I paid on Amazon, I will put a price below yet again. But the guy that did this on video, or the one similar to it, said that he paid like $150 for it. It was the cheapest one on Amazon at the time. This is, I don't think it's the cheapest one anymore on Amazon, but it's pretty darn close to the cheapest. For one, yet again, that I felt looked beefy enough and solid enough to do the job where I was comfortable with it. So in the box here, there is some pictures with some numbers of how much and what for and whys. I did see a few people say that this was in there and it was basically worthless, but at least it's a picture to kind of look at. Something else about this one I will say is it does have cast iron wheels on it, which I like. The one at Harbor Freight, when I looked at it, appeared to be plastic. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't go with the Harbor Freight version one. But anyway, so let's start putting this together. We got obviously the bolts and nuts and washers, and appears to be lock washers to put the legs on here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 casters, which is what we need. These chain things, which I probably am not going to put on. I will use straps. You are responsible for your own safety. And the part that the transmission kind of holds into. We got 2 of those. So it appears what we need is here, I believe. Now, also the guy, if I can find his name, I'll put the name down below somewhere or in the description and tell you who it was. But wow, there's all kinds of metal shavings or something in here that they didn't get out. Alright, now I spent a little bit of time cleaning all the junk out of this so it's not making noises. We're going to put these on like that. Now here is something I did see somebody comment on that guy's video. He so put these on like this with the L bracket facing down, which is technically, according to the picture, wrong, but I really don't see that this is going to make much of a difference either way if it works. But if you're having problems with these lining up, that could be some of the problem with them. I'm going to try it the way he did it for one reason and one reason only. It gives me an extra 2.5 inches of height, which this didn't go quite as high as I wanted it to. I don't remember the exact number. If I can find that, I will also put that below somewhere, probably in the video. But for now, my plan is to go ahead and put it upside down. And yet again, you are responsible for your own safety. If you don't like the way I'm doing something, don't do it. Then there's a washer, a lock washer, and we're throwing that in there. And I'm just going to do everything kind of by hand for now. Well, these are just, this is junk hardware, you can say that for sure. But at some point, if I find I'm having problems, I can always replace it. Now, these have lots of movement in them. So yet again, if you're having problems with it, you're going to want to make sure that when you're all said and done, you have everything where you want it, where it's level, flat, all that kind of stuff. Right. That one doesn't feel like it's going in very well, and I've also heard that problem before as well. I think part of it is when I went to put it on, all the junk that was inside that leg kind of came out and went in there. Let's see if this, I can see like welding slag, it looks like, down in here. And I think there's some like Loctite or something, that some sort of something down in there. Okay, this one's definitely going better here. Oh, this one's good. Alright, those went in okay after all said and done. Here's several people commented on this, how this was upside down and they couldn't use it and this and that. Well, they do that for shipping, but I can see one of the bigger complaints that I would have about it is that you need a snap ring plier to take this pin out to take care of that, and some people don't have those. I believe we need to take this pin out, then flip it around, and I think this just stays in there and kind of sits on top of that. So I got my snap ring pliers here. I'm going to take that, pull it off of there. Try not to do it too hard because you can bend these out of whack. And this thing is kind of a pain in the butt in the way here. Can I just push it out here? Oh boy. Okay, this spring is going to spring out too, it appears, which is kind of a bummer and a half here. So I can see why people would complain about this. It's definitely kind of a pain in the butt, and it doesn't want to come out. And watch yourself, because I don't know how much tension this is on the spring, but it's definitely got tension on it. Alright. And trying to get it back down is going to be the fun part here. I can already tell that I can see why people complain about this part of it. Yeah, you can get down there. That's not playable. Nice. Right. Yeah, that's definitely there. And that's that down there. sure that's in the groove. And turns freely. Alright, so now we should be able to pump that thing up. And this table is not Certa-Flat, but it's hecka flat. We'll put it that way. So it's the flattest thing I'm going to find to do this with. So I figure if this is on here, only problem I do see is it's not touching. The bottom of this is not touching the table. Just the legs are. So the next thing. Most people aren't going to have whatever size this Allen head. I don't know. It's huge. I don't have one. If I don't have one, probably most people don't have one. So what I actually did is went and found a bolt that fits in there pretty well. It's a little bit loose, but then I actually found another one and put that on there. And between the two, it's pretty darn solid. I'm comfortable with it. Yet again, this is one of those places where you got to choose to do what you want to do. You are responsible for your own safety. If you do something I do and you hurt yourself, I'm not responsible. But now I'm going to take, and I already put the one on, like I said. This one, I'm not even sure. It went on there pretty tight. And I don't know why, and it's got some weird markings on it, but it's what I found. These ones here all go on real easy. So I don't know. But regardless, it's 11 millimeter. Is the wrench that I'm using on it here. And when I get this all straightened up, like I already know I need to kind of go this way with it, because this does go back and forth. Yet again, this is one of those places where if I was to flip this around, it might differ, but because of the welds and stuff, I don't think it really matters which way these go. Yet again, you got to choose for yourself what you want to do. What do I do with it? There it is. Alright, and then an 11 millimeter like that. I'm just going to use this to kind of get it buttoned up now to get it tightened up, because I know, yet again, this is wobbling quite a bit, and I know just by doing some leveling with the level, and I actually went clear out here, that seems about right. It all appears to be right, so I'm going to snug it all up this way for now. See what happens in the end here. And then this might, there we go. Yeah, that seemed to work pretty good. I mean, that's not going nowhere. I'm going to do the other side as well. I do believe these are a little bit tweaked. Because when I do this and set it here, I can kind of move this back and forth, which leads me to believe that they're a little bit like this. Yet again, there's weld here, so it's hard to kind of put this here. So I'm going to stick this on here. This will go above the weld, and I can kind of do this kind of thing with it. What I'm seeing, it does look like I brought it that way too much. Yet again, you're going to have to fiddle with yours. Yours is obviously, I mean, I'm just showing you what I'm doing to get it to where I want it. I'm going to probably loosen it a little bit and bring it back that way. This is about to break again, maybe. Let's see. Yep. This is about to break again in here. Now it's stuck. So I'm going to finish tightening these up. I'm going to make another one of these. Get those cranked. I'm going to try and find a stronger bolt. I think I do actually have some smaller grade A bolts in there that I'll probably use, and we'll get her done. Time for honesty here. I actually found It's still a little bit too small, but I was able to use whatever this thing is. I think it was an Allen key at some point, but I actually ended up cutting it off because the one piece actually didn't fit, and that's kind of why I thought I didn't have one big enough. And then I looked at it and I could tell the end was kind of stripped, so I tried the other end and it actually fit sort of, but kind of loosely. But I cannot, it says Chicago, USA, which surprised me because that other end actually, it stripped out as well after a while of trying to tighten these up. And so I cut it off and was able to finally put it on the end of an 11mm socket and crank these down a little bit more both sides. So if you're gonna do my trick with the nuts and a bolt, make sure you're using like grade 8, the strongest thing you can get. And yet again, you're responsible for your own self if you choose to do something I did and you hurt yourself. I am comfortable with what I have. I got it nice and tight. I think we're good. I leveled this out the best I could figure out how to make things work. That seemed to work. There was a lot of people saying they had to hog these out and do all kinds of stuff. They seem to fit fine and have enough play in them to where I was able to level things out as much as I can. So we're going to go with it from here and get her put together. What do I want to do next? I think I am going to just go ahead when I've got it up here. Take these off the side here and put these on here. And these appear to only have nuts, no washers, and no lock washers that I see in here at all. So they do have a little bit of blue Loctite, it looks like, on there. I am going to grab some washer. Well, you know what? Really, this is thick enough. It doesn't need a washer. It's not painted nice enough to where I'm worried about scratching that. And if anything, the bolt will maybe dig in and hold it a little better. So I am going to put my own Loctite on there. So I got this orange Permatex. I like it. It's really strong, but you can still get it off if you need to. It looks like red because I broke the orange tip here, so I'm using the red one on here because it's the one I use the most. And I'm just going to stick these on, and it appears these are 19mm, and they don't have a flat spot to hold, so I'm going to different methods of holding things here. I wish there was a flat spot or something on here. Let's see. Okay, I was able to get that nice and snug on there. So I got these on, and I gotta say, I'm happy that they have the metal wheels or cast iron wheels, but the bearings are nothing to write home about at all. So I'm just for now gonna throw some T9 Bow Shield up in there and do a little bit of lube. Whoa. This definitely is something that I would probably upgrade at some point. When there's pressure on it, you know, it's not super wobbly too much, but there's still quite a bit of play in there. Those aren't going to last long. Might be able to throw some grease up in there, which I may do at some point later. Right now I just want to get this together and see if it's gonna, you know, lift something for me. So we got her on the ground. All in all, it rolls. It seems like it's, you know, fairly flat. I'm not having any problems with it wanting to wobble or anything like that, so that's an upside. So let us put this piece on here. That goes on there somehow. So this is a 12mm and a 14mm. So I have decided I'm going to put this down here, and then I can reach here and turn this much easier. It's still out of the way of that. But when I'm up here, up there, and wanting to hold on to something just to be careful or something, and I want to turn this, I don't want to be reaching under here trying to do that. And as far as turning this, really, more than likely, whatever I'm turning this thing, it'll probably be with my foot. In fact, if I find that I'm not using this at all for any reason, it probably will go away. But for right now, we're going to put it on there because it's there, I guess. Yet again, you are responsible for your own safety. I'm going to keep saying that because it's probably not meant to be this way, and there may be a reason, but right now I don't know what that reason is, and this seems safer to me. So that's not going nowhere. I'm happy with being able to be up here, and more than likely, like I said, I'll be moving this with my foot more than anything else probably. This is mainly just to grab a hold of it and move it around the shop more than anything is what I can see using it for. So yet again, that may change down the road. And I messed up my sticker, so be careful about that. This is closed for when you're pumping. This is open for when you want it to go down. And there we go. So the last piece of the puzzle here, and I will say this is the part where they, I would say, unless they've changed things, lie directly to you in a way that's not a lie. But this now goes on top of here. And I'd say that this bolt that goes in here. Nope, maybe not. Alright, so this is definitely not going in the hole there. It is threaded for a hole, and I'm assuming this is probably it. Another thing people have talked about is that things aren't the right sizes that come with the kit. So, this is what we're trying out here, and this is threaded, but I think they painted in here maybe and screwed it up, or just did a really poor job of threading it in there. I don't know. There we go. There we go. So I don't know if like welding spatter got in there, paint got in there, a little bit of both got in there. But that is working now, and I got it so it's not going to hit there. So we got this plate on here. I'm going to tighten it down. Like I said, there is a recess in the top of this thing that should make it kind of stay where it stays. It'll still turn off the ram here, but here's what I was saying. They kind of lie to you. They make it seem like this should go this way and this way, as well as this way and this way. Well, it goes forward and back, so it tilts this way, but then it stays flat and goes side to side this way. It doesn't actually tilt in two directions. And seem to have the same 12mm and 14mm nuts and bolts that go in here. This goes in here. You got a nut on here. The video I saw the guy talked about putting wing nuts on here, which I think is a very good idea. I will probably do the same, just so you can adjust these a little easier. Come on, son. So these are on here, but I did notice, like, if I tighten this up and try and kind of slide it a little bit, it gets caught quite a bit. And I just didn't really tighten it, but it's just, you know, it'll slide, but it's snug, we'll put it that way. But with washers, I think that would make this slide a lot nicer. So I probably will be putting washers on the bottom down here. And probably wing nuts yet again as well. But right now we're just going to throw it up in here so it is there. These tilt up and down. These are what you put your... Then it comes with your chains, which honestly, I don't know. I think you can put this one in here, and then this will come over here and hook in, and then you can tighten or loosen this, and I don't know. I'm not going to use the chains. They will, you know, stay in a box somewhere in case I need them for some reason, but I really doubt I'm going to use the chains. Stay tuned to find that out. Now, let's go up under the lift with a car and see how far up this goes and if it's going to be able to go where I want it to. So, quite honestly, the transmission in this rig, I do believe I'm going to have to pull out here at some point. Not positive on this one. But regardless, let's see. I have my lift as high as I can lift it to where I can walk under it comfortably and still touch and work on and do things. I don't think this is going to go up that far, but I want to see how far it will go and how much I'm going to have to bend over when I'm doing this kind of stuff. Okay, we're hitting the second run now. Wow. Okay. So, you didn't get to see it, so I'm going to try it again and see what happens. But this right here, the small one came up, and then this popped up a little ways. And then I pumped it a few more times, and this whole big part came up. It was kind of weird. Now, I don't know if it's supposed to do that or not. Oop. See, now the whole thing's coming up. See, last time this piece right here, this big blue part right here, did not come up. It was just the smaller part, which I assumed was the way it was supposed to go, but obviously not. So this part here is stopped now, and I don't think I should be able to do that. I don't know. Maybe. Can I bring the whole thing down? No. So basically it's just intertwining. So this I think was painted closed. So if you have that problem, that's probably what it is. I think they painted this on here. Well, I know they did because there's no paint down here, and the paint stuck to it for the first time. So obviously to get to this, I'm going to have to move a bunch of stuff out of my way. But right as of right now, oh no, that's it right there. So I've got a good, 6 or 8 inches that tops this out. And quite honestly, I don't know as I'd want a transmission all the way topped out on it like this. Now, I'm glad I changed the way this is. I can already tell because I can go like this and bring this down. Otherwise, this would be up here in my way, and I'd either be reaching down through here and getting myself, or trying to come up underneath here. And right now I can still have a hand on, I can put my hand on the transmission above me and I can bring that down. So I'm pretty happy with that. We'll have to see when there's weight on here how happy I am, but I can slow it way down if I want to. If it had weight on here, it'd be just barely squeaking down. I can speed it up a little bit, speed it up a little bit. So there's pretty decent control, I gotta say. And it feels okay, solid. Anything I'm using, I'm probably not going to be totally comfortable with when it's something heavy over my head like that. All in all, am I happy with it? I do believe, considering it is the budgetest one out there, the cheapest one I could find for what I felt still looked sturdy enough, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm fine the way it looks right now with the way I have these wheels put on here. You have to decide for yourself, because that is technically upside down the way I did this. But I don't see why it really matters. This is going to do its job either way. So you need to figure that out for yourself. Pretty easy to put together. It's definitely heavy, and I'm going to have to find a place for it. That's the worst part of this thing right here, is I need it, but I'm going to have to find a place for it. Now, I do have other plans for this down the road. I am probably going to do some modifications to it, maybe, depending on what I'm using it for at the time. But I do have some pretty good ideas of what I want to adapt to this to make it work for other jobs. So keep an eye out for those videos. Thanks for watching Junkworks DIY Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all and master of none. You all have a good one. Oh, right into the thing. That is a really poor place to film at when I do that.